How's it going, everyone? Those of you who watch my streams on Twitch might have noticed I've been playing a lot of 2xKO recently. Despite having no prior knowledge of the League of Legends franchise, I haven't even watched Arcane when I started, though I have now, I'm having a lot of fun with the game. However, the roster is a bit limited, with only 10 characters in early access, a number that reports indicate will remain the same at full release later this year. And since this is a 2v2 fighting game, it doesn't take long for the same characters to show up again and again. If things go well, we can probably expect a good amount of DLC after launch. League of Legends has a massive pool of champions to choose from, over 150. And that's without counting characters from the animated shows, who would also make fantastic additions. So you know where this is going. I decided to put together a list of my top 10 suggestions for champions who should be added to 2xKO, either as DLC or, fingers crossed, maybe even surprise additions before release. And since my league knowledge is limited, I team up with someone far more familiar with the universe, MapleGee, my 2xKO co-op partner. That's right, the game has co-op battles, and they're awesome. Without further ado, here's what we came up with. Number 10, Fiddlesticks. Kicking off our countdown at number 10, we have a champion who brings a truly unique flavor to the roster, Fiddlesticks, the Ancient Fear. 2xKO has its fair share of rushdown fighters, but perhaps it could use a few more zoners, especially if it's one that could also be a terrific setup character, and Fiddlesticks fills that idea perfectly. He would be a long-range zoner who fights from afar and sets up disruptive traps across the stage. Think of Aki's poison puddles in Street Fighter 6 or the many traps set by Rachel Alucard from BlazBlue. Except, in Fiddlestick's case, the traps wouldn't be so much about doing damage, but more about disrupting gameplay. Maybe he would mess with your controller directions, slow you down, or prevent you from using supers, all while he pesters you with long-range attacks, sending flocks of pros to annoy you. Perhaps one of those traps could even siphon your life away, increasing his in the process if you're hit by it, or if you happen to be standing in its area of effect. Basically, this would be a frustrating character to approach who could fight at a distance and defend himself with all sorts of terrifying tricks. And as a final note, I gotta say that while the pretty and cool looking characters are often the fan favorites, every fighting game needs its fair share of weirdos. Fiddlesticks fits this particular archetype perfectly. As Ant-Man's daughter would say, he's so ugly, I love him. Number 9, Poppy. The number 9 spot belongs to Poppy, the Keeper of the Hammer. From the same race as Teemo, Poppy is looking for a fabled hero while wielding that hero's legendary hammer and helping people along the way. Her identity as a small character with a disproportionately massive weapon is the main allure here, and I think there's a lot of room for an interesting moveset when we start looking into her mechanics. I see Poppy as a fun twist in the Darius Big Brawler archetype. Like him, she would have massive swings that deal enormous damage, although with not nearly the same ridiculous range. But unlike Darius, Poppy's small weight would be no match for her massive hammer swings, making it so when she charges her attacks, Poppy goes flying along with the hammer, enabling the tiny Yordle to propel herself across the screen like a missile. Her Iron Ambassador skill from League of Legends could also be adapted in the game. Perhaps she can use it to gain a temporary shield, raising her defense, or throw the shield as a powerful projectile with lots of durability. The catch? Just like in League of Legends, the shield wouldn't come back, forcing Poppy to go pick it up from the ground. In general, Poppy would be a character with a tiny hitbox who can pack one hell of a punch in close quarters, but also a few risky options to quickly move full screen to chase runners, either by throwing her shield or propelling herself with the hammer. Ultimately, Poppy introduces a high-risk, high-reward character who perfectly combines the defensive strength of a tank with the explosive mobility of a rushdown fighter. She hammers her way into our list at number 9. Number 8, Sett. Moving on to number 8, we have a champion who is already a fan-favorite brawler, Sett, the Boss. Sett is a superstar in League of Legends for a reason. He is the undisputed pit boss, a powerful, charismatic character whose visual design and entire kit are already screaming fighting game. The community loves his direct, punchy, in-your-face aggression. In 2xKO, Sett would step into a role similar to Vi, a pure rushdown brawler. However, he would trade a few of Vi's anti-air options and her crucial dash-through projectile ability for a specialization in tricky setups. His Facebreaker and other specials would heavily focus on hitting on both sides, making him an incredibly effective cross-up character and a nightmare assist. He would be ideal for high-low, left-right mix-ups that constantly force the opponent to gas. And his signature Haymaker would become a unique counter-type super where Sett redirects part of the damage he's taken into bonus damage, giving him the potential to unleash the single most powerful attack in the game, provided he absorbs enough hits. Sett has the look, the lore, and the cleanest mechanical translation you could ask for. He muscles his way into our list at number 8. Number 7. Alistar, the Minotaur. Alistar would be a powerful high-impact brawler, functionally similar to a character like Braum who needs to get in close to deliver damage. His primary way to do that could be with Trample, a running attack that smashes through anything, receiving full damage but never stopping until it reaches the corner of the screen or collides with the opponent, launching them into the air for a combo. On top of that, Alistar could stomp the ground and send an unblockable shockwave forward from a distance, similar to Jax from Mortal Kombat. Of course, even with these tools, dealing with long-range or highly mobile characters could still be a problem. That's where his other key ability comes in, Triumphant Roar. This special move would slowly regenerate his grey health over time, forcing opponents to approach him rather than sit back. And beyond the mechanics, he just looks cool. While we all enjoy the more traditional anime-style characters, a good roster benefits from variety, and the massive, distinct silhouette of a Minotaur is a welcome departure from the usual standards. He would fit right in alongside fighters like Warwick and Blitzcrank, who help bring the roster to life with a healthy dose of unorthodox designs. Number 6. Vayne, the Night Hunter. We have to start by complimenting her design. Vayne has such a unique and distinct look, she really feels like she walked right out of an anime. We absolutely want characters to convey a lot of personality with their visuals alone, and she fits that bill perfectly. As for gameplay, she would be an incredibly mobile mix-up character, blending the long-range harassment of Jinx with the aggressive dashes of Vi. Vayne fires bolts from her wrist-mounted crossbow, which would make her effective range about half a screen away. The bolts themselves would be fairly weak unless fired right after her special dodge move, Tumble, which forces her to stay in motion to unlock her real damage. She would be extremely mobile, with the ability to quickly drop from the air to the ground, necessary to keep her combos going since she needs that grounded dodge to power up her next shot. All of this would make Vayne a character with some of the coolest looking combos in the game, constantly dodging or tumbling across the screen to maintain pressure. Because of that, she would naturally lean toward being a high execution character, perfect for players who enjoy fast, technical gameplay. Number 5. Jayce, the Defender of Tomorrow. Jayce brings something 2XKO doesn't have yet, a true stance change fighter. No other confirmed champion swaps between two completely different playstyles on the fly, and adding someone who can flip his entire game plan at the press of a button would open up a whole new layer of strategy. At long range, he would control space with precise, fast projectiles and strong mid-screen pressure, forcing opponents to think carefully about how they approach. But once they managed to get close, Jayce could shift instantly into a heavy, close-quarters stance, trading finesse for armored approaches, powerful close-range strikes, and big combo starters. This dual stance design means that the Jayce player is always managing distance and switching styles to stay in the right range, while the opponent has to stay alert because each stance threatens the fight in a completely different way. And of course, beyond mechanics, his popularity speaks for itself. His role in Arcane made him one of the most recognizable faces in the entire franchise, giving him both fan demand and mainstream appeal. Combined with his unique stance identity, he would be a natural standout in 2XKO's roster. Number 4. Gnar. Gnar, who is the same race as Teemo, offers two completely different fighting styles in a single character slot. Unlike Jayce, whose stance changes would be a deliberate, controlled choice, Gnar's transformation would be automatic, tied to a unique rage meter that builds up during combat, just like in League of Legends. Gnar starts the match as Mini Gnar. In this form, he is small, fast, and highly mobile. He would play like a fast zoner, similar to a high mobility Teemo. He would have extra mobility options like wall jumps and double jumps, making him extremely tricky to pin down. His primary range attack is his boomerang. Although slow, it would have high durability, letting it beat most other projectiles, and it would return to Gnar automatically. However, when his rage meter fills, Gnar transforms into Mega Gnar, essentially becoming a rage-filled Hulk. In this form, he is a large, slow, and extremely tanky grappler. His range options turn into massive boulder throws, and his close range pressure comes from ground slams and a terrifying super command grab. Gnar would be another unique character with a memorable design, and his two forms, one at the start and one at the end of the match, would force players and opponents to deal with two different kits. As a bonus, this is reminiscent of how Tung Fu Ru used to transform in the original Fatal Fury, which is a pretty cool bit of fighting game trivia. Number 3. Tahm Kench. The number 3 spot belongs to the massive Tahm Kench, the River King. For starters, he's a huge departure from the typical champion design, and I think that's a good thing. He's bulky, imposing, and brings a lot of personality to the roster, exactly what a diverse fighting game needs. Tahm Kench would be a one-of-a-kind grappler, slow, durable, but equipped with his Abyssal Dive as a unique teleport move, letting him surprise opponents by emerging from the floor in different positions. We could also adapt his Thick Skin passive from League of Legends, making him receive a higher percentage of damage as Great Health compared to other champions. But of course, his defining mechanic would be his tongue specials. They would be long-range moves that let him control space, and they would also act as the requirement for powering up his super, Devour. Normally, it's just a big command grab where he swallows the opponent for a moment, but if he lands 3 tongue specials first, the super would also drain their health and heal him. These ideas would make Tahm Kench a fun, distinct addition, slow, imposing, and full of personality. Number 2. Riven. The number 2 spot belongs to Riven, the Exile. I've spent a lot of time pushing for unique or downright weird characters to bring personality to the roster, but some champions with a more traditional design are popular for a reason, and Riven is one of them. She is stylish, she fits perfectly alongside characters like Ahri, and she has the kind of appeal that fighting game fans latch onto instantly. Gameplay wise, Riven should be a rushdown combo heavy character, just like in League of Legends. The key ability here would be her runic blade system, which allows Riven to charge her blade so the next attack deals extra damage and gains better combo properties. Finding the best setups and opportunities to squeeze a few extra charges into a combo would be the key to maximizing her potential. My final idea is to adapt her key burst skill into something unique for 2x KO, her own combo breaker tied to a separate gauge. For balance, this combo breaker wouldn't give her fury, and it could even cost a little grey health upon activation. All in all, Riven would combine popularity, strong visual appeal, and a high execution playstyle that makes her a top contender for the roster. Number 1. Katarina. The number 1 spot goes to Katarina, the Sinister Blade, and honestly, who else could it be? She's one of League of Legends OGs, stylish, deadly, instantly recognizable, and one of the most popular champions the franchise has ever had. With her confirmed appearance in the next Arcane storyline set in Noxus, her popularity is only going to rise even higher, making her an obvious top pick for a 2x KO roster. For gameplay, Katarina would capture the same momentum-based identity she has in League of Legends. Her kit there is all about chaining actions together, never letting the opponent breathe and turning every small opening into a flurry of blades. Into XKO, one of her signature specials could involve throwing a dagger that sticks into the ground or wall depending on where it lands. These daggers wouldn't just be projectiles, they'll be anchors. Katarina would be able to teleport directly to any dagger she's thrown, picking it back up while instantly repositioning. This would let her maintain relentless pressure, finish a combo with a dagger toss, teleport right back in, and stay glued to the opponent. Or she could throw a dagger somewhere unexpected to set up ambiguous approaches, forcing the opponent to keep guessing where she'd strike next. Put it simply, Katarina would be a fast, aggressive momentum drive rushdown character whose entire playstyle revolves around creative teleport routes, constant pressure, and forcing defensive mistakes. Combined with her massive popularity, iconic status, and upcoming Arcane spotlight, She's the kind of champion who feels destined for a number 1 pick. Alright everyone, that wraps up our dive into the champions would love to see joining 2XKO. We went through the whole list, from Fiddlesticks and Sett all the way down to Riven and of course Katarina, our non-negotiable number 1 pick. But now I want to hear from you. With more than 100 champions in League of Legends, there is no way you don't have your own wishlist. Drop your favorite champion and who you think should be added next in the comments below. If you enjoyed this breakdown and want to see more videos like it, hit the like button and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. And if you want to catch me actually playing 2XKO, follow me on Twitch. I stream there way more often than on YouTube. For now, this has been a Cammyplayer, and I'll see you guys later.